Hello, everybody. I want to tell you about the time when fear didn't come from a gun pointed at me. It came from my immigration status. I was 22 years old, working at a cricket store in Tempe. It was already dark outside, and I was behind the counter finishing some work when a man walked in wearing a black hoodie. I smiled and greeted him, but he didn't answer. Instead, he pulled out a gun and told me to open the register. My heart dropped. My hands were shaky so hard that I could barely move. Without thinking, nervously I asked, "Do you want the coins too?" At that time, it wasn't funny. I was actually pretty terrified. But looking back, I realized that it was fear trying to protect me, using humor to survive the moment. Even though I had DACA, I was still undocumented, and my biggest fear wasn't the man with the gun. It was what would happen after. I kept thinking about my baby, who was only a year old, and how everything I did could affect both of us. Still, I knew I had to do the right thing. So once the robber left, I took a deep breath and called 911. Within minutes, 6 police cars surrounded the store, red and blue lights flashing through the glass. Officers rushed in, checking every single corner. Officer Martinez approached me. I remember staring at that body cam in his chest. My mind was spinning. What if they know I'm undocumented? What if I ruined everything? When I saw his name, Martinez, a Hispanic last name, one that looked like mine, one that sounded like home, in that moment when I felt like an outsider, like a criminal for not being a citizen, that simple name grounded me. It reminded me in fear I still belong here. He spoke firmly and gently. "You're okay now. Look at me, answer all of my questions, and take a big breath. Remember, you're safe." Those words and that name meant everything. After everything ended, I remember closing the store, calling my boss, and driving home. A 30-minute drive turned into an hour because I was scared to take the main roads. So I took an alternative, driving slow like a grandma, my hands trembling in the steering wheel. The world felt so quiet, but my head was so loud. I could still hear the police radios and the robbers' voices echoing. The next day, I went back to work, but it wasn't the same. Every time the door opened, I would flinch. Every man in a hoodie made my heart race. The police lights from that night still flash in my mind, bright, silent, and overwhelming. My hands would go cold, my face hot, and my body felt light, like if I give in to fear, I would just vanish. It was my first job as a manager, and even though I loved my position, I was terrified to work at that location again. I asked to be relocated to another cricket store. A day later, a detective called me to tell me they have arrested somebody matching my description that I gave. They came to my store, opened a white binder, and showed me 10 faces. Without even thinking, my eyes went straight to one. "That's him," I pointed. The detective nodded. "Thank you, that's all we needed." For 2 years, I kept getting letters from court with updates, postponed hearings, reschedules, and delays. Every time I saw that envelope, I felt fear all over again. Finally, I received one that said I could be in the courtroom to see his sentencing. I decided not to go. But turns out, he'd be convicted for 25 years for multiple charges, not just mine. A few weeks after that, while renewing my DACA, someone told me that I might qualify for a U visa because I was a victim of violent crime. That changed everything. For the first time, I felt like there was real hope, not just for my safety, but for my stability. That's when I met Rinka, my attorney, who helped me begin this long process. Almost 6 years later, I received my deferred action, and now I'm just a few years away from having my U visa approved. What started? Thank you. What started as one of the scariest nights of my life became the reason I finally found the path towards peace and protection. Yes, fear is something I still carry with me, but it no longer controls me like that day did. Even though this experience wasn't good, I never let fear win. I keep showing up. I worked hard. Today, I'm proud to say I manage one of the top cricket stores in my area. I became the kind of leader the company needs, one that leads with empathy, courage, and compassion. That experience taught me to believe that I, an immigrant, deserve safety, justice like anyone else. So I invite you to take action, to see immigrants as people, not papers, to understand that strength doesn't come from having no fear, but from facing it and rising above it. Because sometimes all it takes is one terrifying moment to remind you how powerful you really are.